Welcome to my video autobiography. I named it Music is Not What I Do, It's Who I Am. And I'm a firm believer that God gives everybody a gift. And if you don't follow that gift, I've learned from personal experience that it'll drive you crazy. Absolutely crazy. So anybody that's watching this video, just remember that everybody has a gift in life. It doesn't matter if it's music or whatever it is. You really need the strength to follow that and live with uncertainty, and more so surrender it to God because there are a lot of tough days. Anyway, so I'm going to start off telling you a little bit about where I come from. I grew up in Fernie, BC. My parents, I grew up at the drive-in theater, and it was an awesome place to have a childhood. My grandparents on the Lynch side, they had the White Spot and a nice paint parlor, and then they actually had the drive-in theater before my dad took over. My grandpa on my mom's side rambled. He's originally from Hungary, and there was always music in both sides of the family. So my grandfather on the rambled side played the violin. On the Lynch side, they always used to have entertainment in the White Spot, and it was bring your own booze, I believe, until they finally got a license. In my own family, growing up at the drive-in theater, my parents had a drum set in the living room, an organ. We always had guitars, and family and friends would come over on Saturday nights, and we'd have, I guess, a party, but family party. And that's what really inspired me to want to be part of a musical whatever at a very, very young age. When I was 8 years old, my mom, our entire family was in a car accident, and I can remember my dad having to take us to Calgary, to the foothills on weekends with 6 kids, and I can remember thinking at an older age how much that must have been a struggle for him. But on the other sense, you always take the positive out of the negative, and I really learned that in a big way at a young age. And my dad has nerves of steel. He's the type of person that, in my mind, there's not one person or one man on the face of this earth that could walk in his shoes. What he's done for his family and my mom, how they encouraged us, even with her, she ended up being a paraplegic, and they encouraged us to be everything that we could possibly be, no matter what. So it didn't matter how much, people would say, oh, you guys have bad luck. Well, yeah, or you wouldn't have any luck at all. And in my mind, that's not true, because what that does to you in life, it teaches you to be able to handle the struggles of life and take the negative and put it into a positive. So at a very young age, I think with myself, I had to learn how to escape from some of the negativity or the struggles or whatever it was that I was going through. And what I did is I learned how to play the guitar by my sister, Kim, thank you, and Shar. My mom played guitar, and my sister learned from my mom, and blah, 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 blah. And it carried on. Anyways, Kim struggled to teach me because it was so hard. Once you learn it, you learn it. It's like riding a bike. But I do remember those years of learning, and it was a long, hard struggle. And then to get to release all what I think happened in my younger days, I learned how to songwrite. I have no idea where that came from, but I was probably age 12, I think I wrote my first song. And my brother used to hate listening to me sing because I sounded terrible, but I kept it up and I sang in my room, and I haven't quit, obviously. Anyways, it was through our entire life, we have really, really learned how to take a negative and put it into a positive. This is the only way I know how to explain it. And so my life in songwriting is what I live, I write. And it's just who I am, and it's, I can't change that. So that's basically how I was brought up. I guess when I hit about 20, we used to sing in church all the time. We used to sing at funerals, weddings, whatever. We sang it because we wanted to sing, me and my sisters. And then Kathy and I started singing together a lot, and I went through one of those very huge breakups, and she come over and said, let's go buy some equipment and let's get singing. And we jumped in my car, I literally remember this, headed to Lethbridge, financed a whole lot of equipment with no job, and practiced day and night, drove my mom and dad absolutely insane. I have no idea how they could actually even take us singing sun up to sundown. Literally the sun was coming up when we were done practicing singing. And our first gig at the Hosmer Bar, that was crazy. We had to audition to go sing there, and we packed the house. And for, I don't know, 10, 15 years after that, didn't matter where we went, everywhere we went, the deal was if we didn't pack the house, that they didn't have to pay us. So Kathy and her marketing skills and all our hard work, and I've done a lot of marketing as well, we made that happen. And so it didn't matter where we were at, we always got paid. That was a good thing. And that took us a long ways. And then I decided that I needed to get my songs onto a CD. Didn't know how I was going to do it, or no idea how to do it. And along the way, I had some struggles in life. I had a boyfriend, and I ended up pregnant with Sadie. You know what, I'm not going to hide anything. My best friend ended up with that particular person, and that was their choice, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. So I was a single parent for a good couple years, and that was a struggle as well. I had to move back home when I was pregnant with Sadie. I finished all my gigs, I think right up until 2 weeks before I had her. I was singing pregnant. It was, lots of people remember this. Anyways, and I took a bit of time off and had the baby. 6 months later, I started dating who is now my husband. And of course it was dating, and I was still a single parent. It was very challenging because I had to work another job and sing on weekends, and just to make ends meet, buy diapers or whatever. And I never gave up on the music. Music is always my release. I think it was, Sadie was about 2 years old, and my relationship got a little more serious. Lived in Hosmer, I believe. Started working another job in the coal mine, and that gave me the money to start the Walk Through Life album and actually record it, because it takes a lot of money to do that. So I had to create my own company, which is Lynch Records, and that was to hold all the publishing rights, and of course learning the business end, and didn't realize that you needed to make money in order to have a business, I guess. Anyways, I still have that business today, and with the Walk Through Life, it was just that drive to, you know, no matter what, I'm going to do this, and I need to get this on a CD. And I clearly remember throwing the CD in the mail. I had RDR Music Group out of Toronto. Joe was awesome with me, took me under his wing. I ended up going to the BC Country Music Association seminars in Vancouver, and then I ended up with the CCMA seminars in Calgary. Phenomenal, learned so much. Got involved more with SOCAN, video agencies. I just learned a ton of industry, something that you can't learn in school. You just have to go and do it. And today I call the Walk Through Life CD my rookie CD, if you will. It was a lot of learning experience on the music side, because music is 80% business, 20% music, and that 20% music has to be 110%. I'm the type of person that it wouldn't matter if I was shoveling gravel, or saving a life, or writing a song, or recording an album. Whatever you do in life, you have to do it 110%, because everything that you do in life reflects back to you later on. And I do remember that the fear of the recording. I had to learn how to record. I had to learn how producers work. I had to learn how the electronics of it. Then we were using ADATs, and you needed musicians, and you needed all these different things that it took a lot of lessons for me. Anyways, I called it the Rookie CD, and you could tell, but that's okay because I did it. And that album, I just put it out there, and what happened is I released it internationally. I have no idea how I did that, but I read a ton of books, and I always want to learn whatever I can, wherever I can. So I released it into Europe, and I remember singing at the Stampede because I would just get involved wherever I could, sing wherever I could. Sadie was on stage with me, by the way, at 2 years old. I'll never forget that. The kid just wanted to be everywhere, and wherever I was singing, she was there, and she didn't care. She was up on the stage. I just let her get up there because she just wouldn't take no for an answer. I sang at Klondike Days in Edmonton, and did a show for CFCN, big breakfast show out of Calgary. All kinds of things were going on at the same time, and I come home one day, check the mail, open up this envelope, look at it, oh yeah, whatever, throw it on the table. Kathy goes, oh my God, you're #1 in Europe. I'm like, yeah, whatever. She goes, no, really, you have a #1 single in Europe. Walk through, like, look, and she's freaking out. And the realization of that to me was, I couldn't really fathom it, I guess. I don't know. It was kind of crazy, but anyways, it was very cool. And then we celebrated once I realized that this was in fact happening. And it just snowballed from there, and it went really well. And I'm very thankful and grateful that happened at that time, because it kept me really encouraged. And we were singing a lot in local bars and wherever we could, and selling CDs. And then I decided to get married. And I got married, and I think we moved to Baines Lake. And my life just got really, really busy in the rescue world. I'm still with the fire department. I became officer, training officer, working at the coal mine. And it just, too much time in my own life and bringing up my own family took me away from the music a little bit again. And you almost give up. I gave up again. I'll admit, I gave up on my music world. Not really, because I always sing, and I'm always recording, and I'm always writing, but I wasn't in it in a professional manner. Then I decided that Frank and I decided to have a baby, and when I was pregnant with Dwight, I remember seeing a tumor, I didn't know it was a tumor at the time, but there was a lump on my knee, and of course my belly was quite big, and I knew at that same time that if I said it to anybody about this, that my child would be left in jeopardy that I didn't even know then. And so I kept it a secret. I didn't even tell Frank, I didn't tell anybody, but being in the medical field, I knew that it wasn't good. And so at the same time, I always have a bazillion things going on at one time in my life. I'm just kind of getting used to it. And at the same time, I had the publishing rights. I got a hold of Miles Goodwin with April Wine, and I was going to record Like a Lover, Like a Song for the next album. And this was around the same time I was pregnant, and this tumor or lump on my knee or whatever came about. Anyways, I kept going with the, kept writing, kept pursuing where I could, and then what happened, I think it was a month after I had Dwight, I finally told Frank about this lump on my knee, and he freaked and told me, you need to go to the doctor. It wasn't even a month, it was probably like a couple of weeks or whatever. Anyways, when I went into the doctor, they were like, okay, well, I've never seen a lump be cancerous, so don't really worry about it, but you can just go home and we'll do biopsies. Long story short, it ended up being cancer. I did a ton of research on my particular cancer alone, not the 100 million other ones that there are. And what I discovered is that a lot of the protocols are revamped, and I don't even want to get into it, but I can tell you that I took the alternative route. I decided to have it surgically removed, and that was my choice. It was a huge, huge, huge fight with people telling me that I'm going to die, doctors telling me that I'm going to die if I don't do what they did, or what they tell me to do. And again, I surrendered it to God. I completely lived in God's hands. Just gave me the courage to survive, really. You know, there were days that I would sit on my deck and wonder if I'm even going to see my baby turn a year old. But and then I would turn to the Bible, and I read that a lot, and that's Let Me Stay song. That's where that comes from. Anyways, again, I repaired myself, got back to work, and my husband and I have always studied food and the quality of food, and that led us into the Dutchmans Garden. We decided that we needed to eat organic food, and we couldn't find any here. So he's always been a gardener, and I took a year and investigated the business, found brokers, found certified organic products and produce, and we figured out a way to deliver it to homes, and that's where the Dutchmans Garden came about. And I just said, you know, anybody that wants to come for the ride can definitely buy a bid, basically. So I ended up leaving my job that I loved so much at the time, and because I knew the importance of Frank needing employment in this area. He's not a coal miner, he is now, but he wasn't at the time. And just getting the Dutchman's Garden going was quite a challenge. So again, it took me away from the music, because now I had, once we started, it just snowballed and it went like crazy, and next thing you know, we have employees, and we're delivering all over the countryside, and this business is going crazy. And again, I'm away from the music, except for my own little music room with my guitars and my recorders, and writing a bazillion songs. And I look back and I don't regret things that happened in my life. I've learned a lot from everything. That business ran into us getting into a farming deal. We had South Country Organic Farm. We moved the entire business to a farm. So then we had the Dutchman's Garden, the farming, and still. So at the same time, I was working on the Dream Big CD. At that time, I didn't know it was called Dream Big, but I had a whole bunch of songs to go on the next CD that I wanted to make, and I had no idea how I was going to make the money to do it, because I'd go record a song and then it would sit, and I'd record another song, make a little bit of money. It takes a lot of money to run a business, and the Dutchmans went through some crazy times. Anyways, so we were running the Dutchmans, South Country Organic Farm, and at the same time, I had linked a deal with Jerry Duncan, and he was a promoter down in Nashville, and my song Plowin' and Cryin' debuted on Music Row and several other stations all over, well, Music Row obviously in the US, and other stations in the US and then Canada. And it was just a crazy ride. I remember those days I would be like top of the world. Nothing could even touch the feeling of knowing that you're on this amazing chart, and it was just awesome. It gives me goosebumps, as you can tell. Those days were fun, and you have to learn how to ride that roller coaster, not just in the music world, but in life in general. But those particular days were definitely a roller coaster. I'd made a video, a Plowin' and Cryin' video, and along with the Dream Big CD, flew out to Vancouver, had photo shoots done, editing the video. It was just a crazy, crazy time. Don't forget, I had employees, still had to deliver bins, still had to make orders, and I have no idea how that all went. I do know that you do have to exercise and eat right to keep your sanity. It's something that I've always done, and that is the only thing that's kept me sane, by the way. One little thing, don't forget. Anyways, then the farm business deal went sour. We had to move our entire business back to Baines Lake, to our home. and that was a very trying time. But we did it, and then we kept our business going. The economy went a little downhill, okay, a lot downhill. Fuel prices doubled. Our products they were 100% certified organic, so the brokers, the cost of goods went skyrocketed, double. We lost a lot of clients due to them losing their work, and it got to the point, I can't remember, 2009 I really struggled. I had to lay off employees and juggle everything, and you know, trying to keep the music going. It was just a super crazy time. I remember in 2008, I believe, 2009, when my music was really on the charts down in Music Row, and Jerry had asked if, you know, if I would be able to go and meet radio, and I'd always talked about going and touring radio stations, but being self-employed, I couldn't do that. And he said, you know, we have this CRS every year, and I was like, CRS? I remember seeing that, researching that like 10 years ago. Are you kidding me? What is that? And he said, oh, all the radio will be here. You can come and thank them yourself. I was like, oh, awesome. I pick up the phone because I had nobody to go with, and I always wanted to go to Nashville, and I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to get there. And so I phoned up Kathy and I said, you want to come to Nashville? And she's like, yeah. So that was our first trip to Nashville, and it was awesome. I had the opportunity to thank everybody who was supporting and playing my songs. And I remember, I think You Can't Look Back was actually airing at that time, so that was cool for me because that was one of my favorites. And then 2010 came around. Was it 2010? When did we stop? Yeah, it was 2010. And I went back to Nashville, and the business was still really, really struggling. I have no idea how we got there. Kathy has been awesome. We figure out ways no matter what. When you put your mind to something, you can really achieve great goals. And so we went back there, and I remember telling her, you know, it's crazy because that's all I've done in my life is either rescued or sang. And I said, right now I feel like I need to be rescued. It was just so trying because financially it was crazy, and I was ready to give up on the music again because it cost so much money, and we're in Nashville. And I'm telling her this, and she's like, you need to pull yourself together. And I'm meeting radio, and I'm trying to hold it all together. Well, the last day, we were actually out for lunch with a publicist, and she's a really good friend. And we started talking about, you know, just life in general. And I don't know what it was that she said, but of course, I just broke. I couldn't take it anymore. I held it together all week long, and I left and went into the lobby, and she come and followed me into the lobby. I can't remember if that's exactly how it went, but we were in the lobby, and I was really upset. And I remember this lady saying to me, she's the angel in the 911 song, and she said, listen, honey, you definitely have a gift, and God gives us a gift, and you can't change that. So you can either fight it your entire life, or you can just carry on who you are. And that was so amazing to me that she said that, and it kind of set me straight. And a couple months later, when I got back from Nashville, I remember songs just come to me whenever. I could be driving down the road, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning, it could be at work, it could be wherever. This particular song, I think, was at 3 in the morning, and it just came, 911 Rescue Me. It's really, it's something that, you know, for me, I always turn to the Bible, and I'm a firm believer in that, and my songs come from there. Well, actually, I don't know where my songs come from. At a very young age, I thought I was a complete oddball, and because people weren't like me, I've always had these different things. I always wanted to do things 110%, didn't matter. You write these songs, and where do they come from? Because when you're writing, it's not necessarily, you can't even make the pen go as fast as the thoughts that are coming into your head, and the best songs that come out usually or take 5 minutes to write or 10 minutes, and that's not even exaggerating. They just happen that way. So it's like somebody else writing the song, if you will. Anyways, with the 911 rescuing, that's how quick it came out. And clearly it was a message to people, like other songs that everybody, good songs that get out there that everybody writes, real life songs. So that saved me, because I know that whenever things go crazy in my life, the only thing that saves me, my release, is writing songs and singing. And I think later on that year, the Dutchmans took a hard fall, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And I said, you know, I can't do this. I really can't do this. I had a lot of very smart people look at my business in a financial manner and how to survive, and we just couldn't do it. So we shut it down, and it was heartbreaking. Both of my husband and I had to go back to our old jobs, which we did probably not even a week later. Emailed our previous employers, and we were back to work within a couple weeks. With my job, though, I had to recertify all my tickets, which I slowly, they slowly expired through the Dutchmans. So being an advanced EMP, the advanced mine rescue, those kinds of things, I had to renew all those tickets. So I remember that being very challenging and studying all the time. And again, left no time for the music. So now 2011 rolls around, and thank God for Kathy and Deanna. Deanna's been a savior, Kathy's been a savior, telling me you can't quit, you can't give up. My whole life these two have been behind me 110%, and I'm very, very thankful for that. And Kathy for dragging me to Nashville again. Not like, you know, you really want to go, but when I go there, it means more than the fun and everything. It's life-changing for me. It's music, and it's who I am. So it's very dear to my heart when I go. And Kathy took me there again in 2011, and I think things just started picking up again. But again, I was busy with my work and, you know, trying to juggle. So it takes a lot of time, because you can only do this when you're on days off. And don't forget, I have 2 kids, and they're in school, and my husband, and cooking, and you know, everything that life brings forward and the challenges. And I ended up finding a way to play on gigs on weekends or days off or whatever. And I think it was November 2011, I showcased for some young entertainers. I was a feature act, showcased at the Cranbrook. It was Cranbrook Showcase in November, I think, at the Key City Theatre. And that was pretty awesome. We did that. And then the following month, December, because we were marketing the whole time, and that's one great thing that Kathy's kept up for me, because she took over my role of being able to call radio and kind of learning the ropes of what happens in the music industry and how that goes. And she's basically almost taking over now for me, because my life is getting so busy. Anyways, it was shortly after that, in December, that I had a phone call from my record label out of Florida asking if I was interested in their company. And that was December 2011, I believe. And of course I was ecstatic. Keep in mind that over the years there were several independent record labels that I had joined with, and they just didn't work out. I had a few management companies that didn't work out as well. This one seemed to be the right one. So it was Christmas, so things kind of, you know, they weren't written in stone. But I had mentioned that, you know, there was a huge market for a mother-daughter duo, and over the years my daughter has always sang with me, and I wanted her to, but she was never ready. And I asked them if, you know, if they would take both of us instead of just me. So that's kind of how the Lynch's mother-daughter duo came about. And then my dad got very sick, and that was very challenging right around Christmas, so it kind of put a little bit of a lull into things. And of course my mental stability of balancing everything at that time was not in a good way. I had my dad sick. I had this huge deal out of Florida that I had to think about, which now I'm bringing on my child, who is an adult as well, but it's me that is bringing her into this crazy world of music. And there were a lot of things that were happening at work at that same time. I have no idea why. And those people, I forgive them for what they've done. But they made my life very challenging. And there were the financial downfalls of the Dutchmans that I was dealing with as well, and normal life challenges. So January 2012, I had so much on my plate that I just couldn't take it anymore. And I went to see my doctor, and she knows when I come in there that things are bad because I never go there, sorry. But I'm very alternative, and I like to keep myself healthy. I like to do the, not wait to get sick, but take care of your body and exercise and everything before you get sick. Unfortunately, my mental stability, my mind and body weren't balanced, and I just couldn't take it. And she said, you know, you need some time off. You really have to take time off work. You got to get your life sorted out. So at the same time, there was some serious stuff going on with the Dutchman's downfall. There was things going on at work from co-workers that were very challenging, and my dad was very ill. And then I had this very positive thing of this record company out of Florida. And there were things in, you know, normal things in your marriage and in every life that everybody goes through that all of a sudden it all fell apart, and I fell apart. So I lost it completely, and I ended up having to take time off work, and there were some assumptions. You don't always want to let work know, and I'm a firm believer that, quite frankly, if a doctor pulls you off work, that is very personal, and there is no need to, as an employer, I wouldn't expect my employee to be able to even tell me what is going on in their personal life, and quite frankly, I wouldn't want to know. If a doctor said an employee needs to be off work, then that is good for me. But unfortunately, it wasn't for the company that I worked for. I had already had holidays booked to go to Nashville, CRS. I'd been there so many times before. That was booked like well in advance. However, this company figured that I was just taking time off to pursue my music career. Unfortunately, both things were happening at the same time. And it was a very, very sad time in my life. I remember there were days that I'd come home from the doctor and spend those days in bed. And trying to pull yourself out of the gutter like that was extremely hard, and then not having the support from your employer, accusations saying that I'm pursuing a music career, was extremely hurtful for me, because I put so much into my employment and what I do. And anyways, long story short, I remember getting an email saying that I was terminated from my job. And of course, when that happens to you in a small town, in a small valley, assumptions happen. And I always say, don't ever assume. It'll make an asshole out of you and an asshole out of me. I've said that my entire life. But I didn't have the courage to tell anybody what was going on. My life was falling apart. That's not something that you brag about. And not to mention, I had a heck of a lot of investors that were expecting great things from me, and that alone put on a lot of pressure. So, long story short, I couldn't get I felt that I couldn't get a job anywhere, because that's all I've done is rescued lives and sing. And where are you going to do that in the valley and make big money? It just was something in my mind that I would not get through this. So last summer, it was just brutal. I remember building this particular music room just to get my mind off of things. You know, I did everything I could trying not to think about how the heck am I going to find a job. It had the ripple effect on everything, from trying to get an unemployment and them not believing me, because I had a business. My business has been around for 20 years. It's never made money. It's so hard in the music. It's a publishing company. Yes, it is going to make money one day, but you know, until you make $30,000, you can't claim income tax, and it's just such a vicious circle. Anyways, so unemployment was a struggle. I had no money for myself. Thankfully, my husband still had a job, which he's a coal miner now. And I remember trying to pull my life back together, exercising, alternative therapy, everything that I possibly could, up until I think August of last year. I just decided, okay, enough. I don't even care what I gotta do to go back to work. I'm gonna do whatever I can, whether it's waitressing, babysitting. I really don't care. I mean, I'm an advanced rescuer. I now work for BC Ambulance, part-time paramedic, so my capabilities obviously were still high, but I didn't believe in myself that they were that high. And then, I think it was July of last year, I ran into a paramedic at the hospital because my dad was really ill. And I just asked them what it was like to work for BC Ambulance, because I'd worked there when I was 20. And it was really, you had to be on call all the time, and I lived out of town, and I couldn't go to work there, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, they were like, no, you can get on the schedule, it's really good. So I applied back at BC Ambulance, and then I was called by a good friend about a job over at Sweetwater, which is not far from where I live. And it puts a smile on my face because these two companies that I now work for have actually, going back to work, I realized that they have shown me to appreciate my talents and my business skills and my safety skills and my rescue skills and saving lives, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. It took that for me to overcome, I guess if you will, my breakdown. And that's where a new song, I Will Survive, come out, and you guys will eventually get to hear that. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention that also happened last year, because so many things happened at the same time, was that our record deal in Florida, we had some serious things that went on there, and that deal fell through. So that in turn discouraged my daughter, and it broke my heart because she's an incredible songwriter, singer, and she's definitely gifted. And today, with my current job at Sweetwater and working for BC Ambulance, I have felt like I have turned back the years. I just feel encouraged, strong, the strength is incredible. So today, how things are is that I'm really encouraging Sadie to come back as the Lynch's mother-daughter duo. She was so discouraged and so heartbroken, and that really broke my heart because I had taken her into the world of music knowing that the strengths that you need are incredible strengths, and I feel I am ready now finally, and I have that strength. However, it doesn't matter how much you think you can or whatever. What matters is the road leading to where you go in this life. And eternity is a lot longer than our life on earth. But I do believe that you have this gift, and I would like to encourage Sadie to continue with that gift because she's an incredible songwriter and singer and a person. And she has a lot to give other people in the world of music. I hope that I got her back, but the two things that I've done is I've decided that Purpose in Life has got incredible airplay in Europe, and thank you to all the radio stations. We're also going to release it in Canada. We're just kind of waiting on Sadie to be ready for that step. And the other thing that's happened is the Dream Big CD is now getting attention in Europe thanks to all those people that are playing it. The feature act that's happening is pretty exciting. And so the Shelley Lynch singer-songwriter album, Dream Big, is also out there. And I'm writing another album. and I'm writing for Sadie and Sadie's writing. So we decided that we'd have the Lynches and we'd have the Shelley Lynch, and as Lynch Records representative. So it's crazy time, and my job is exciting as well. You can go to sweetwaterbc.com and check that out. That's really cool. And of course, BC Ambulance, that's part of my life, so that's who I am as well, and I really enjoy that job. So it's quite exciting, things that are going on now. We are headed to Nashville again, and we actually have some pretty incredible things going on that are coming up there as well. And we're a little more cautious, I might say, so that those people that have interest in us, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait till I come down there and meet you and really find out who you are and that you are what you say you are. And then as far as investors, I truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything that you've done for us, and radio and everybody, like Kathy, she's just incredibly taking over a lot of the marketing, and when I can't be there, and that really has taken a load off my shoulders for me to carry on. As far as what's to come, I have an entire, probably 2 albums written, and continue once you reach, as a songwriter, once you come to that stable part of your life, and you're balanced, the creativity is amazing, and so I write all the time now, again, and it feels great. And yes, there's a lot of dud songs, but there's a lot of good ones, and I have a lot of albums written, and for me and Sadie, or just me, or whatever it takes, or publishing deal, I don't know what's to come, because I live every day just putting everything I can into every day instead of worrying about tomorrow. And also surrendering everything that I have and just living in God's hands, and where it takes me, that's where I'm going to go. With the music, like I said, it's a big part of my life. It's not just music, it's who I am, it's what I do, and I feel that I've learned my lesson. I will never ever give up. It's too funny. You think that your age can contribute and it's the end of it. It's never the end. It's who you are at your life. You're going to carry on with that. So in saying that, we are also inviting other investors into our business, because it does take a lot of money, and to get to where we need to go, we have some incredibly awesome, talented players in Nashville that are just waiting for us to record, and then of course come back to Canada, and some incredible studios to get the vocals and everything, and pull it all together. I have crazy ideas in my head, like this autobiography, but I can tell you that it will happen, because that's where I'm going. So I'm going to leave you with, I'm going to do an acoustic version of 911 Rescue Me, and yeah, that's it. So thank you to all the fans, you are incredible. Thank you for helping me. You can like me on Facebook, you can like Lynch's on Facebook, you can like Lynch Records on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on just about every social media site you can be on. And of course, lynchrecords.com, shelleylynch.com. There's going to be lots of exciting things coming up this year in 2013. And stay tuned. And you guys are my strength. Writing for people is incredible. When I have people come up and tell me that my song changed their life, that's when I know that's where I belong. If it weren't for music, I have absolutely incredible favorite artists. I don't just have one, I have almost every one. And Kathy laughs at me because I listen to every kind of music. And I just want to thank people for listening. So thank you. Okay, so I'm going to play you 911 Rescue Me. Just winging at me and my old guitar with my extremely long nails that my sister so kindly talked me into. Hopefully I can play it. I give a little boy a breath of life, and God knows that I have seen many. As to the ones that couldn't, I don't know why. You could say my life is crazy. I've been on several 911 calls. It's what I do, but believe me, sometimes I wish I didn't know it at all. It's sad when you do good things that come back unfold. I've made my 911 call heaven above. Help me make it through it all. I can't take it anymore. Then an angel took my hand. She said it is what it is. You can't change what God wants you to be. Oh, rescue me. Oh, rescue me. Well, the life is a gift of music. It's always written in a song. It's an honor to deliver a simple message so strong. I've been blessed with so much. Almost gave up my dream, my gift. It's what I do, but believe me, some days I wish I didn't know it at all. It's sad when you do good things that come back and unfold. I've made my 911 call to heaven above. Help me make it through it all. I can't take it anymore. Then an angel took my hand. She said it is what it is. You can't change what God wants you to be. Oh, rescue me. Oh, rescue me. Did it. Long nails and everything.